Oh, we're live. Hello, people. Sorry, I'm just writing a little thing in the comments here real quick. Have a great trip. There we go. Okay. Oh, I'm here. I made it. We've arrived. Again, I don't know what's going on with the energies right now, but I wasn't even sure I was going to make it out here. I really had to kind of push myself to get out here after everything that's been going on, not just for me personally. Hold on, I got to fix my eyebrows. Hold on. Okay, because I like to do this thing where they're thinning. I probably should use my eyebrow pencil, but I really don't. I don't enjoy putting on makeup, so I kind of just try to do is done. And like if it could be done in 5 to 10 minutes, I'm good. So I'm here. Hi Heidi. Miss White Swan already wrote in and said she's camping, so she doesn't have a good service, so she's just gonna probably watch later. Yes, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I can't believe they did this to us again. And I posted some of my own thoughts about this through memes, through some clips on my Facebook, and it's been quite divisive, I have to say. I am a little bit, I'll tell you what, I have never had to block so many people in such a short time span. I in fact, up until I would say a few years ago, I never blocked people. I've never really had any arguments with people, or if we did have any kind of argument, it was like, no, there's no point in really, I don't know. I just never felt the need to block people. And now that hi there, Brian. Now that this whole assassination and murder of Charlie Kirk on the Utah campus, now that has happened, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to turn my phone. My phone's silent here. Now that it has happened, it is really, and it's ironic, considering Charlie Kirk, his work, his podcast was called Turning Point, because it really has been a turning point. Hi there, Jason. Nice to see you. It's been a turning point. The amount of people that have shown their lack of humanity has been absolutely mind-blowing to me. People, and let me tell you, if you're here listening to me talk right now on my channel and you celebrated in any way and was happy about a good man, a husband, a father, who literally all he did was go around trying to debate people, trying to show people that it's okay to have disagreements, but let's use rational thinking and common sense to see where each other stands. Like, he was even willing to change his viewpoint if you brought a good argument. Now, the thing that pisses me off, I think, the most about the people that I see coming out and like taking little tiny quotes of his and using it to be like, oh, this guy was a Nazi, this guy was a fascist. It pisses me off the same way that it used to piss me off when people would talk about Donald Trump, when they'd only listen to the media and they had never actually listened to a full speech of his and what he was actually saying. It's very much the same thing I'm seeing. Let me tell you, so there are a lot of people out there I see, they have sympathy, they have empathy for Charlie Kirk, and they'll be like, I only ever saw little clips of him on reels and stuff like that, but I always respected the communications he brought forward. Well, I was actually a follower of his, and I watched a lot of his stuff when around the time before Trump was reelected. I'd really gotten into watching Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool. I don't really watch them so much. I stopped watching them so much because a lot of the stuff I was like, okay, I've heard all this stuff already before. And part of what I did turn away a little bit from Charlie Kirk in recent times was the fact that he was so pro-Israel. And I just want to come out and say this right now. Like, this is not about being against Jewish people. Like, this is not about real Jewish people who are good people. There's always those rotten apples in the bunch, right? This isn't about those people. I'm not talking, when I talk about Israel, I'm not talking about the Jewish people. I'm talking about Israel, the state, the governmental state. Okay? Like, it didn't take rocket science for me to figure out immediately when I just stopped and did some logical deduction and thought about the patterns that we've already seen happen and what we know to be true. If you've been around conspiracy stuff long enough, just about 9/11 or the JFK assassination, there's a pattern, and it's a very recognizable pattern. Okay, like for me, I'll just tell you right off the bat, for John F. Kennedy and his assassination, Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy. He was a fucking patsy. In fact, I'm pretty sure intuitively and from certain videos and stuff like that, that the shooter was actually in the car. The shooter was actually in the car, done. You know what I'm saying? But they had other people, the other patsies lined up to shoot. So people would think, just like with this one, the shooter was supposedly on the roof and ran away, this sniper. You know what I'm saying? But I saw a real good, clear video where they're doing these signs, right? They're doing like signs behind Charlie Kirk. And what it looked like to me was this guy standing to his right was holding something and did a little like this. But they would have needed the sniper to shoot off too, to make it sound like that came from somewhere else. And the first thing I thought to myself was, it's Israel. It's Israel. And people like on Facebook today, I posted some of that, my beliefs on that, and they're coming at me and they're like, but he was pro-Israel. He was a Zionist. Yes, and that is exactly why I stopped listening to him so much until I heard that he finally started to question the narrative. And isn't it ironic that within 48 hours of him questioning the narrative of the Israelis basically genociding the Palestinian people, and make no doubt about it, that is what the fuck they are doing. Okay, I even had I actually had a dream about it many years ago, and I didn't recognize it, that this was the dream, that it was correlating with this. And me in my dreams, they have a pattern, and I voted for Trump. I really supported Trump, but something changed. Something happened with Trump. And he has not been the same for a while. If just his approach on the Epstein files is just look at that in itself. Something is wrong there. I watched this clip on the mayor debate basically from New York City. And why on earth? They asked all the candidates, what country would you want to visit if you became mayor? And 4 out of 5 of them said the first place they would visit is Israel? Are you America first or are you Israel first? Because it seems to me like they're saying Israel's first. Why? Why is that? These things don't make sense. It doesn't add up unless Israel has blackmail on them somehow, or that you have to say the right thing in order to not get taken out. Like there was only one person that said, one mayoral candidate that basically said, I wouldn't visit any other country. I would like to stay here and address the problems that are going on in New York. And they gave him shit about that? Yes. Jason's saying that he noticed the signs. He's been in the military. He noticed the signs. Yeah. And also just being a psychic, being an intuitive, being a channeler myself, realizing that that is something I'm capable of. You know, I have been trying to tap into Charlie Kirk's energy since it happened. And, you know, it wasn't easy to do right away. You know, it felt like it was such a shock to his spirit that at first, like, it was what they were telling me, what my guides were telling me was that it was such a shock to his spirit that they actually had to kind of put him into like a cocoon type of thing for a moment so that he could come to terms with the realization that he had been taken out like that. But now I connected to him this morning, connected to Charlie this morning. And he was quite happy because when you've let go of the physical form, you don't hold the same concerns that you did when you were in the human body. It's completely different frequency, state of being, so to speak. And the first thing he said to me, because this is what, okay, do you think our government wasn't in on the JFK assassination? Do you think our government was not involved in the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center? None of it adds up. You know, that the jet fuel could melt steel beams, but somehow the passports of the hijackers remained intact and they were able to find those. Like, come on now. And so the first thing, honestly, he said was Trump knew about it. That was what he said to me. I know that might be very controversial for me to say, but I believe it at this point. You know, why they allowed it? That is yet to be seen, other than the fact that they are just so brazen and so bold at this point that there's nothing to hold them back. I mean, if they have America by the balls, so to speak, what's to stop them from doing that? What is to stop them from doing that? You know, I planned on coming out here this week to talk about some other things that I'd come across, you know, because sometimes it's like you get information and you hear it and you know it's to be true, but it doesn't sink in. Like, it doesn't really take hold in the way that allows you to really connect with the information. So, you know, we all know about the satanic cults, the death cult that has been running this world. If you're on my channel and you don't know that, then get a seat, you know, and I'm going to give you some things to go ahead and research, because everything I'm talking about, you can go out there and find. And in my community, we have been talking about this stuff for a long time. But what I planned on coming to talk about, when the realization that it really hit home for me these past couple of weeks, was after I listened to this interview, this very long interview of this guy who claims to have been a high wizard, a grand wizard in the cults. And he basically went through his life story about how he managed to be there, how he climbed the ladder, what his responsibilities were. He eventually ended up leaving, found a way to escape, even though his life was at risk. And the only thing basically saving him now is the grace of God. And listening to him talk about this, it's like something finally sunk in and something finally hit, because the way he was saying it, you could tell it was all true. And suddenly I realized, like, it finally hit in. It's like I heard it before, but it finally like sunk in. Like, they've been perfecting MK Ultra for so long, and they finally did it to the entire nation, to the entire world. That is really what COVID was all about. They have basically broken down humanity to the point where people are afraid to even speak to each other. People are afraid to go and hang out with each other. The whole 6 feet apart, being locked down in your homes. Like, it's like that study that showed that rats, when left alone and given the option of cocaine-laced water or regular water, when they're alone, they'll choose to become addicted to cocaine. But once you give them the environment where they have other rats to play with in a stimulating environment, they chose to not take the cocaine. You know, we are like those rats, basically. They have separated us. They have isolated us to the point where we are weak and vulnerable. And this is why our drug addictions are so rampant. I mean, I can speak firsthand for that. What do you think drug addiction immediately makes you do? It makes you more isolated. It makes you more vulnerable to doing things that you would that are against your morals, against your principles, that would make you mistreat other beings. And I just honestly, I literally cried for humanity over the fact that this is what they have done to all of us, and how do we fix this and change it now? And now we have this. Now we have this assassination of a brilliant mind who literally, even though I might not have always agreed on everything he said, he brought rational, logical arguments to the table, and he should have been respected for that. Like, the most fascist thing you can do is shoot an opponent who you don't like what they said. I one of the quotes they keep taking out of context, I really think, because that's the thing. They take these quotes and they take them out of context, and they use these to justify having this lack of empathy and this lack of humanity. It's like all the demons, all of them are showing themselves. This one quote that he had about empathy, basically, and how he thinks it was a new age term and that it doesn't exist. And I agree with him in a way, okay, because I know, I remember hearing his argument on this, and it's not that empathy doesn't exist. It's how we use it. It's the word empathy. It's how that we have corrupted the word even. They've corrupted it. Like empathy, like this is what I mean. How might they abuse the word empathy? Okay, well, empathy when abused would allow parents to let their children, their young teenagers who are just don't know themselves yet, going through the hardest part of growing up, basically, parents who would allow their teens who might be confused about their identity to go and take hormones that will forever change their body, possibly make them sterile and fertile, or mutilate themselves in a way to get sex changes. Now, listen, I'm not transphobic or anything. In fact, I grew up, quite honestly, I loved drag queens. I loved drag queen movies and everything like that. But there's a big difference between someone who is doing this in a way that it's respectful because this is their identity, and they know the proper moral line, where it's like, you don't take that and you don't expose children to that. You like drag queen, what was it? The book reading thing. There are so many people out here, they're mentally sick. It's not the same thing. One of my favorite podcasters, her name's Blair White. Okay. She's a trans woman. Okay. And she, like, I totally agree with her stance on what has gone on and how basically they have hijacked the entire trans movement. And I think Charlie Kirk was trying to bring that to the forefront and trying to show people, like the empathy that we're talking about here. When he says that empathy is this new age term, he's talking about the way that new age people are using it, or not even new age, liberal and democratic people, especially, though, because it's virtue signaling. Excuse me. So, like, I didn't have anything really even written out or planned. I just it's energetic and psychological warfare is what my friend Brian here is saying. And now they done did it. I never thought that I would, I lived through 9/11, but never something like the JFK shooting. Like, I never really quite understood what that did to the people who saw it, who heard about it, who witnessed, who lived through that. And now they have did it again. This was meant to traumatize us. This was meant to scare us. This was meant to push us into a civil war, I think. It was meant to divide us even more. And I don't know how it's not going to do that, especially if we're fighting amongst ourselves, saying, like, it's got to be a left-wing person. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was a left-wing person. I don't think that this was by chance. I think this was Israel taking out one of their own because he started to question the narrative, and they wanted to send a message that said, don't you dare question the narrative. Yeah, we're genociding the Palestinian people in the name of taking out Hamas. What about all the innocents, though? What about the people, the children, the women that they're starving? It's not it is not a hard find to find on YouTube interviews of people who have really gone into that war zone and seen what they're doing to the children, like who are just running to get food, the women and the children, and they will shoot them. They will shoot them. And here's a little something that you guys don't really know about me, but my firstborn son is half Palestinian. You know, his father was from Palestine. They moved out when he was young, and he basically grew up in America. And then they moved back, and he was raised there for a little while. And then he moved back to America, where I eventually met him, and I had my first blessing from God, which is my son David. Yeah, it's very tragic. Christina, nice to see you here, by the way. It's tragic, and it's just absolutely absurd. It's like, how bad do we have to let it get before we organize and realize that there's more of us than there is of them? Like, I mean, I've already been saying it now for a while at this point. I don't see a way out of this without people finally coming together, the good people coming together and standing up against these bullies, against these tyrants. Show me another way. Show me another way. Suggest another way. Because Trump ain't doing it for us. Clearly not. And if there's this trust the plan thing in place, I'm sorry, but I have lost my trust in that. I've lost my trust in that a while ago. And I just kept my mouth shut, hoping that maybe something would show, you know, maybe some, but the more he pushes this whole, the Epstein thing, people are stupid for wanting the Epstein files released and everything. And did you know, actually, I heard that the same time that Charlie Kirk was being assassinated, the thing that they presented on the floor of Congress was about releasing the Epstein files again. I'm so tired of the fucking red tape. I'm so tired of this. We got to vote on if we are going to give people the truth or not. It's exhausting. And it's just this never ending loop of them saying the same thing over and over and over again. And people being like, oh, but look, they did this one little thing. It's progress. They did this one other little thing and it's progress. Well, it's not progress enough because we're not focusing on the thing that's really important. First and foremost, the children. The children are what's important. And that is the thing. I mean, they literally have made our culture in a way where we have been participating in the same satanic ritual stuff, okay, that this guy, the Grand Wizard, whose interview I listened to, he's just what he's describing as what they do, okay, is basically what they have subconsciously programmed with us with. And I'm not saying we've all participated in it unknowingly, because that was part of their job. That's what they wanted to do. They want to make it seem like that's what's normal. You know, that they're the good guys. Remember, like, that's the whole thing. They twisted it and they made it like we're the good guys because you should. Okay, like how did they tricked him as a kid? I'm trying to remember the example that he gave. Basically, it's like they started offering him ways to manifest. Okay, and so he had manifested money, and this little boy, and all he cared about at the time was candy. You know what I'm saying? Now, he was able to buy all this candy in a way that was really unhealthy for him, right? Like, you don't want to overindulge. But in the cult that he was a part of, they were like, no, you see, like, we're the good guys. We want you to feel good. Doesn't it make you happy to have all that candy? Don't listen to your parents. You know what I'm saying? They don't listen to them tell you. Like he said, every time he turned around, you know, he'd ask, Mom, Dad, can I have this? Can I do that? And they would be like, no, 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 no. Well, the cult did the exact opposite for him. And that is how they ended up tricking him and convincing him to be a part of it, to the point where now he just felt like, oh, well, I'm so far gone anyway, I might as well keep going. And it was a hard wake-up call to realize that how deeply embedded that they really have taken this thing. Man, this lunar eclipse thing, right? During the blood moon of this lunar eclipse, where astrologically, if you look it up, it says the death of a great person. Like, they planned this stuff on purpose. They did it on purpose. I don't know. I don't even know what else to say other than we need to work together, and we need to pray, and we need to figure out what way. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that really got me, that really was disturbing to me, was the fact that in this cult, this Grand Wizard guy, he was basically saying that he would be hired, like that was part of his role as being this Grand Wizard, was people will pay money for him to hex and curse other people, other individuals. So for instance, one time he was paid to hex and curse this guy who owned a car dealership, who had really nice inventory, and the car dealership across the street wanted to buy him out, and he didn't want to. Okay, so what they did was they don't even get their own hands bloody. Okay, they go and they hire someone to do it for them, and it's out of their hands. Okay, and then so how the spell worked out was that the guy ended up dying, and so now they were able to go to his wife, and they were able to buy that car dealership. Like, that's how easy it is for them, for people to do this type of stuff. It's like God brought all this information to the forefront for me about how easy it is, how people will use dark magic to do all of these things. And it's just something I did not realize the scope of how bad it was. How easy it is for people to turn in this way. Because when you're like us, when you're on that angelic frequency, so to speak, you don't even fathom it. You don't even fathom it. I think that might be all I have to say about that subject, because like I said, I'm just so disappointed. So disappointed. I it's not like I didn't experience my own issues when it came to this last eclipse, this lunar eclipse, like, because it was like basically like a giant mirror. It's going to spotlight something in your life for you, right? Give you an opportunity for something to flip, for something to change. And something definitely did change in my life too. Not for the better, not in a way that makes me happy. And I don't even know if I'm ready to talk about that part yet, which, me, usually I'm ready to talk about anything, everything, put it all out there. But I'm not really ready to go to that part yet. So I'm going to try and move along from this dark topic. I really don't know what else to say other than what I did, guys. Like, it was Israel. They're behind it all. And if you don't believe me and you doubt that, I don't require your belief. We don't require your belief for something to be true. Like, but I think that Charlie Kirk is out. Oh, that was the other thing he told me, because I didn't really have time to really connect too long with them this morning, but I will again, because that's what I do. I just do that naturally. It's just like tuning into a radio station. When you want to connect to someone who's deceased or is on the other side, for me, this is how I sense it. I just sense it. Like, I feel them. Okay. I think about who they are. I think about their name, and somehow I naturally can like adjust the frequency and connect in with them, and they can tell me stuff. Right. And so what he basically said, first of all, was that Trump wasn't on it, that he knew about it, that he knew it was going to happen, but Israel has blackmail on him, and he himself didn't know how deep it went. But he said that all this was basically, they're showing me an iceberg. Okay. And you know how usually you see the iceberg, just the tip of it, and then there's all the huge part of it underneath. And he was saying that is changing. He's saying that's what's changing. He's saying the iceberg is coming up all the way. And what he showed me it as was a large portion of it was up. It was like it's being made lighter and lighter to come up. So if that was what's going to happen here, then I guess as an angel, as us being angels here, we need to keep focusing our light, which is our consciousness, our intentions, our motivations on God, please help humanity. Help us expose all of this. Help the truth be known and be seen. There are some that are not going to be able to be helped or be saved, but God, help us reach the ones that can be. You know, it's like the Buddhist story I always tell about the lotuses, okay, and how they're born from the mud. All right, now some people are going to be stuck in the mud forever. Some people are going to rise naturally to the surface. Some people are going to be stuck right in the middle. We need those people that are stuck right in the middle to come and join us. So we need to focus our intention on those people. Come on now, humanity. We need to rise up. We need to see each other we're not the enemies. Most people, I think, are good people. Well, although I'm really, like I said, I'm really starting to question. They've brain damaged people so much. They have brain damaged and brainwashed people so much. I don't even know how much. You know what? I'll tell you some of the dream that I had. Okay. I'll tell you some of the dream that I had all these years ago about what was going to happen. What is happening now. I had this dream that I was with my family in our house. It was like my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my stepsister, my siblings, basically, my son. It's like a government, a bunch of trucks. They were coming, like, it kind of almost looked like even like a little spaceship, like the way the top of it was kind of like a bubble. They were coming and they were collecting people from their homes. Okay, they were collecting all these people from their homes and they were moving us to these apartment complexes, and they were forcing all of us to, they were introducing us to like all the people we were going to be now forced to live with. And they had changed and made all of these crazy, insane rules. And I don't even remember what all the rules were. I just remember they were really weird and strange rules. Like I remember one of them was like, you're not allowed to swear. One of them was like, you're not allowed to eat meat. It was like just absurd, ridiculous stuff like that. And in a state of just like absolute like sadness, and I can't think of a better word to describe it, like defeat, like being trapped, I went to the bathroom in this apartment complex, which they didn't even have doors. Like there weren't even doors in the separate rooms except for the bathroom. The bathroom had a door. And I went into this bathroom and there was a window, and I was able to look out this window, and down below me there was this line of soldiers, and there was like this like dirt. I just remember that being like, I don't remember there being a field, or like there were trees far away in the background, but it was like dirt. Okay. And across the way from all these soldiers standing there like this was a bunch of people, and they were just shooting these people. And a little red cardinal flew across the field. And that was when the light of God came. And whenever God speaks to me, he always comes in as a light from above, and he speaks, and he said, basically, he said, you see that cardinal? He said, you are just like that cardinal. He said, you could run across that field of fire right now and you would not get hit by a single bullet, because you are not meant to die. You are meant to live. And I was like, wow, and at the time I had been asking God, like, is midwifery the right course for me to be on? And so I said, am I meant to be a midwife? And he said, yes. And at that point, I wanted to call my boyfriend at the time. And I went to go on my cell phone, which was a flip phone. And I went to go call him, and it immediately went to static. It was like, and when I woke up, I thought to myself, shit, I don't think he's coming with me into the future, you know? And when I actually saw the videos of the Palestinians being shoved into this tiny space and being forced to walk all these miles just to get food, it was like spirit was like, this is that dream. This is that dream. This is that time. And I was like, oh shit, you know, like, hold on, I'm seeing some people in the chat. I'm seeing Patrick. Hi, Patrick. Nice to see you. Let me see. Yeah, who is funding these cowards? I agree, Brian. I agree. We need to know. We need to know. Mm-hmm. Glad you could make it, Patrick. Glad you could make it. Yes, that is until yes, yes. But at the time, you know, the fear of death sometimes can hold people back from doing the things that they're meant to do. Fear is the real thing that holds people back from doing the things that will really bring their life meaning and bring that connection. You know, I even noticed like every time, and they tried to tell me this. I've experienced this so many times now at this point. Anytime I get into a state of fear, I can't connect. Anytime I get into a state of fear, I can't tune in the same way that I do when I am in a state of love. And I will not be able to take the next step forward that I need to take in whatever direction I need to go if I'm not connected to God in this way. So learning to overcome, you know, and that's why I feel like it's like one of the main messages that Anthony from Canadian Awareness, one of the main messages that he channels in from the reptilians is like how much fear holds us back and how one of our main missions should be to overcome fear. We need to overcome our fears. It's hard to do when you're not, sometimes you don't even know what those are. You know, like, it's time to overcome the fears, guys. It's really time to overcome the fear. And I feel like that's kind of what I've been almost forcing myself to do with some of the things that I've been posting and doing on my Facebook account. Because as I've talked about in the recent weeks, you know, my Facebook account, the subscriber count, the follower count has gone up dramatically. And with that, it's like become less of an echo chamber, so to speak. And more people with differing opinions are coming to the forefront. And I don't mind going back and forth with people. Like my natural inclination is not going to be to block you and not deal with you. It's going to be to say what I want to say in whatever way I want to say it. You know, while at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and encourage you to disrespect me or allow you to, after we've had this debate back and forth and now you're getting just mean and nasty or you're not even making sense. I'm not going to allow people to just stay on my page who do that or who are mean to my friends on there that I've been friends with for a long time and such. You know, because I mean, I got into it real good with this girl, which I knew it was coming. This girl, I ain't even afraid to say her name. Her name's Ellie Law. Okay. I knew she was going to come for me eventually because she came for all my other friends already. And it was almost like it was just a matter of time, you know, and sure enough, she came at me yesterday. And so I'm like, okay, fine. You know, like you wanted to come and take a swing at me. Well, let's go. You know, and so I said some things back to her and she just literally, it's like, I'm looking for you to actually respond back in a way that's intelligent. Kind of like how Charlie Kirk was doing, right? Like he always showed respect to people. He always showed respect. And so I tried to show her respect and say, like, this is what I truly think about you and about the things that you post and how you act. Like if you want to sit there and you want to come and judge me about something, now let's go ahead and let me tell you, since you want to passive aggressively share your opinion with me, let me show you what being direct looks like and tell you exactly my opinion of you. And she had no intelligent conversation to come back with. And it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of disappointing, you know, like I'm taking the time and putting the energy into actually having a conversation with someone, and the best they got is, I know you are, but what am I? That was the type of response she came back at me with. I know you are, but what am I? And the post was absolutely about like trying to help people who might be like the ones that are celebrating the Charlie Kirk assassination, was trying to open their eyes. Like, is this really the road you want to go down? You want to have lost your humanity. You want to, like, it listed all these things. Like, we've forgotten reverence for life. We have forgotten that. We've forgotten what reverence is. We've forgotten what the true meaning behind these feelings are, what life is supposed to mean. We've forgotten it. And please, I'm begging you guys, stop, please. If you have it in you and you're capable, have it. Have the empathy, have the humanity, have the reverence for life, have the respect for one another. And Ellie Law just, I don't know, I think she got triggered by feeling like I was calling her that directly somehow. And so she basically was like, yes, you are. Like, that's what I was. It didn't even make sense. I was like, yes, I am. What? She was like, if I thought it was direct. Yeah, yes, you are all of those things. Basically saying that I didn't have reverence for life. I didn't have all the things that I was listing. She's like, you posted it. Ha 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 ha. Like, you sound retarded. Like, you sound like a retard. And I just heard my friend Mario say that in a video, so I feel safe enough to say that here. Because I mean that with, like he said, with the utmost respect. There are a lot of people out there that are literally that, and they don't even know it, because they have been poisoning us, and they have been brainwashing us, and they have been traumatizing us and desensitizing us to all these things for almost our entire lives. Yes. I love that you're blowing up my chat, Patrick. I appreciate the participation. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Oh, Victor! Yay, you made it. I just got done talking about all the hard stuff. I think we're going to try and go on to the more lighthearted stuff now. You know, like the things that I like to talk about the most, you know, the stories, the things that have given my life meaning, because I think that is, well, A Course in Miracles is what taught me this. A Course in Miracles, the workbook where you do a work lesson every single day for 365 days, an entire year, and it teaches you, it deprograms you. It deprograms you, and it teaches you that you give everything in your life meaning. If something triggers you, it is because you have given it meaning somehow, and it's up to you to figure out what meaning it is that you gave that thing, where you gave it that power. And then you have to, that's how you undo it, when you drop it and you start to realize what you really are. It teaches you to look inside yourself and see what you really are. But you know how many times I have told people this, and you know, how many people have really gone out and done the workbook, and it's sad. It's sad because it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's part of the shadows on the tree of death, basically, where people think that just like knowledge without digestion is in itself demonic. Okay, so if you're not taking spiritual information, like when, okay, even like with the law of one, okay, like I see people, they post quotes from the law of one. Now you can read it and you'd be like, okay, read it, you know what I'm saying? But for me, what I love about the law of one is when you slow down and you feel with it, you feel with what it's saying, and you can feel the spiritual truth behind it. Like, it's something that has to be digested and felt and absorbed and then put into practical use in your life. If you aren't taking these spiritual ideals and putting them into practical use in your life, well, congratulations, you have allowed your shadow aspect to win. And I'm so fucking tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of the people who just allow the shadow aspects of themselves to run the show because they're too afraid to do anything different because they're comfy. Because let's say life smashed them down there. Let's say they're the lotus flower and life was so hard and it just smashed them down back into that mud over and over and over again. And you know what? Now they've figured out, well, you know, it's actually kind of cozy. It's kind of comfy. It's kind of comfy here with my little mud blanket. Let me just pull it up. No, I don't want to change. No, I mean, yeah, I see your point, but no, I like it like this. Like, you know, if that's it, then be on your way. Because I'm here for the people that are actually looking to reach the surface of that water, who are actually looking to wade out of their unconscious, their subconscious mind, so that they can see the light of God. Because when you see the light of God and you are connected to it, you realize that you are that, and you aren't any of those negative thoughts that you have that run through your head all day. That's the inner critic. You aren't any of those things. You are not your thoughts. You know, you are not your thoughts. You are something that is beyond thought. But you'll never digest that if you don't take the time to feel into it and to really contemplate and ponder. And I just happen to have been in a place in my life when I went through it where there was nothing else that was more important to me than finding out the truth about who I really am, because life had been so disappointing and I had suffered so much that I didn't even care about any of it. I didn't care about anything else in life. I only wanted to know the truth. I only wanted to know what God really was, what I really am. But some people they don't reach that point. They just don't reach that point. You know, like I said, they're comfy with their mud blanket at the bottom of the fucking lake or ocean or water, or wherever the fuck it is that they ended up, wherever life pushed them down into. Like the level of courage that it takes to really confront yourself and your weaknesses and see the real change that needs to be done inside, the level of courage it takes is not for the faint of heart. And that's why the more you rise, the less, it's almost like it's kind of almost self-isolating in a way, you know, because the less you are able to relate to normal people who are still stuck down there and and they're comfortable. The world has done a great job in making sure you have enough distractions and comforts to not properly tune in and connect to your own inner source of God, because it's inside. Yes. It's time to rise up. Yes, I agree, Brian. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, Patrick. Sorry, I'm still overcoming an upper respiratory infection, which maybe that will be a good little transition out of that heavy state into maybe this lighter state. I'll just tell you guys a crazy synchronicity that happened for me. Okay, so I take cilantro tincture every day. If you don't know what cilantro is, you know, it's a herb, okay? And if you don't like eating it, which I don't like eating it, you can get a tincture form of it, and it detoxes you. It takes mercury out of your blood. It is able to help cross the blood-brain barrier, so it's able to take it also out of the brain. Okay, a lot of people get heavy metal buildup around the crown. Okay, and well, cilantro tincture is one of the remedies that will help to actually pull that mercury out. And a lot of us have that not just from being exposed to it in our environment, but from amalgam fillings that they used to do in dental work, because it's always leaching. If you have silver mercury fillings in your mouth, it's always leaching. It's always leaking mercury into your bloodstream. You know, so I went to go restock and rebuy my cilantro tincture, and I had to wait a couple days for it, which is unusual, but I got it and I opened it, and they didn't send me cilantro. They sent me echinacea. Okay. And I thought it was so funny because here I am, I'm like struggling. I really don't want to have to take a course of antibiotics again. I don't think that it's helping as much as the chlorine dioxide that I've been using. Like I can literally feel the chlorine dioxide going through my bloodstream. I can feel it cleaning the areas where the infection is at, because it feels like someone's pouring cool water on it. So it's going into my lymphatic system. And it's kind of like, an aquarium when it gets that algae buildup on the walls. So chlorine dioxide, in my opinion, it's like the scrub brush that you take and it cleans that up. So I've been drinking a lot of chlorine dioxide. I like stepped it up. Okay. And then I go to buy the cilantro tincture because I'm just like, what else can I take? God, what else can I take? And they send me echinacea. And echinacea tincture is specifically to help fight infections, and specifically upper respiratory infections. So the tincture has such a strong flavor. If you actually get the kind that is alcohol free, it shouldn't taste too bad. It's actually got a kind of a sweet flavor because of what they use to make it alcohol free, which I don't mind the alcohol version. I actually don't mind really nasty tasting stuff if it's medicine. It almost feels like I'm being, I don't know, strong. I'm saying like, just do a shot of it. Because you know what really tastes nasty? Moringa tincture. And I love moringa. Now I crave it. Now I'm like, oh, I hate licorice, black licorice, but I get this black licorice, licorice root tincture because it's for for low blood pressure. If you have low blood pressure, licorice root tincture will help to keep it raised. And now I'm so used to it. Now I'm like, your body starts to crave what it needs, what it really desires. Pay attention to the cravings that you get. I know, right? Alcohol free. Oh, yeah. But I mean, that's really what they try to push a lot now. They try to really, that's all the main options that I get on Amazon when you look it up. It's all the alcohol free stuff. So I don't know. So let's go on to the next part though. Let's go on to the lighter stories here. Okay. Because we're going to talk about Space Dandy, a Space Dandy episode that I happened to rewatch just this past week, which got me super, super excited because I love the ideals that Space Dandy brings when it comes to different types of aliens. Because you got to think about it. We have to be so unique out there and from so many different places. If you're a starseed and you're here, if you resonate with that, okay, and this isn't your home planet, so to speak, and you have these unique gifts that you're bringing into the world. The reason I love Space Dandy is because they show all the different ideals of what that could look like. Okay, but I felt like there was I wanted to update you guys on Wednesday. So I finished watching season 2 of Wednesday. If you haven't watched it, it's really freaking cool. I love the series. I love the Addams Family in general. I love that type of. I like spooky season. I've always really been big into spooky season, but I was so sad about the character I chose because okay, if you know me, I always have a character I relate to, and whatever I watch, it's not always a main character. Sometimes it's a side character. And in this particular show, in the Wednesday show, I related to Enid, okay, which is the werewolf chick, okay, because she's colorful and she's bubbly and, she's trying to be best friends with Wednesday. She ends up being best friends with Wednesday, who is like the investigator, and she's kind of cold and dark, right, and cynical and everything, but hilarious. And this is a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, I was so sad. My character, it was like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because here's what happened to her. Basically, she found out because she was able to, because during her first wolf out, basically it takes a while when you are a werewolf, according to their lore, basically you have to wolf out. All right. And usually you wolf out younger than what she did. All right. She was already way into high school and she hadn't had her first wolf out experience yet. And finally, during a rare blood moon, she wolfed out. Okay. And she was so happy about that afterwards. She was like, yay, I finally did. She was finally accepted by the pack and everything like that. Well, in this season, we found out that she's able to transform in an unusual way that most of the werewolves can't, which is that she can transform into a werewolf anytime that she needs to. Anytime, which most werewolves can only do that under a full moon. one of the teachers sees her doing this and is basically like, you know what this means? Like, this means that you're an alpha wolf. And she's like, I don't want to be an alpha wolf. And she's like, no, I'll help you. The teacher's trying to say, like, I'll help you. It's okay. Like, we can get through this together. But just know, if you wolf out during this certain time, like, you have to be safe, because if you wolf out during this certain specific time period, then you could stay in your werewolf form forever. And what that means is that the other werewolves will then chase you down and hunt you and try to kill you. Okay, so the whole purpose from that point on is that she's got to stay calm, because what makes someone wolf out is them getting really emotionally invested in something that's upsetting to them. Okay, and in this case, Wednesday almost dies, which is her best friend, and she absolutely can't allow that, and so she has no other choice, and she wolfs out. But Wednesday, they had already talked about this, and Wednesday promised that she would come find her. And so that's what season 3 is going to be about. She's on the hunt to go track and find Enid to help her, because I'm hoping that there's going to be some way for her to transform back into her normal identity and self, because I was so sad. It was like such a beautiful, touching thing, but also so sad, because it was like the love between two best friends, and it's like, she was willing to do that for Wednesday. She was willing to transform into this alpha wolf and know that she was going to remain that permanently in order to save Wednesday, because she loved her so much. And so thank God for Wednesday. She's going to go after her best friend. She's going to find her. She's going to keep her company, is what she basically said. So now it's been spoiled. Yes, I absolutely love it. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just read something that Victor was writing about medicine and how it tastes bad on purpose so people don't overdose on it. It's possible, but you know what's funny is that Klonopin tastes sweet. Klonopin tastes sweet. So if they don't want us to overdose, why they make that one taste good? Because I get Klonopin. I mean, I don't overdo it. I've never been big onto anti-anxiety meds. I was always an opiate girl. So it's easy for me not to. But I did notice that. I'm like, why is, like, this is sweet? That's very interesting. But, like steroids, though, those are really bitter. I've had to take those because of the infection and stuff. So I hate them. And they leave a lingering taste in your mouth afterward. I fucking hate it. Like, I don't want to taste that. But it helps. So anyway, my character in Wednesday transforms into an alpha wolf and stays that way at the current moment. Sad. Wednesday's going to find her, though. Trust in Wednesday. So next. Let's go to the next thing. And then we're going to pull cards, because I don't, honestly, like I said, I'm in a really heavy state of mind and emotion, and I wasn't even sure I was going to come out here and do this, but I kind of felt like a part of my heart felt like it needed to, in order to say what I wanted to say. I wanted to be on record here, like, before it's too far away, like what I really thought about Charlie Kirk. I want that, what I say frequency wise, to go out there into the world and hopefully help people wake up some and realize, like, we need to band together. Like, even if it's just through the collective consciousness, like, that is how we reach the 100th monkey effect, is that enough of us wake up collective consciousness wise, and then I feel like that is when everything starts clicking into place for us to change things, if that makes sense. So let's get on to Space Dandy, though, because I absolutely love Space Dandy. And if you haven't, it's very hard to find now. I was actually very disappointed. I went on Amazon Prime, and they didn't even have the second season available. And then the one season they did have available that I was able to find, it wasn't even dubbed. It was subtitled. And I like the dubbed. I have watched subtitled ones, but I'm not... Reading is kind of not my strong suit. I can, obviously, I mean, but I'm like one of those slow readers where it's like I'm literally like saying every word to myself as I'm reading it, where other people just seem to be able to like fly through things. I don't know. I don't know how to get faster at that, other than, I guess, to practice reading more. I don't know, but I'd rather listen to things. Listening to things is easier for me than watching things, So So Space Dandy wasn't even available. Like, you have to find it through the internet somehow now, seasons 1 and seasons 2. The second season I thought was better than the first season, quite honestly, except for the episode I think we're talking about today is from the first season, and it was a Christmas episode, actually. Gosh, wish I could remember the full name of it. It was like everything was like merry-go-round, yeah, baby, or something like that, because every title had to end with like, yeah, baby, or something like in the show. I can't exactly remember right now. I just remember this episode really well. So Space Dandy, all right, he is a alien hunter, okay, and he flies around in his spaceship that's called the Aloha Oi. All right. He has 2 companions that travel with him all the time. His main companions, which is Meow Meow Meow, which is a cat from Beetlejuice, from the planet Beetlejuice, and then a robot called QT, a sentient robot. Okay, and he rescued them basically, and so now they're his space crew. And so for the longest time, I always felt like I was Meow Meow Meow, because he has a star on the back of his neck, and I have a star on the back of my neck. And so even more recently, I've made my best friends the other 2 characters. Okay, so my best friend Honora was QT, and then her husband Matthew is Space Dandy, right? But I told her about this too, but I was not satisfied with just this, because yes, those are the main characters. That's the only choices that you get. But I'm like, she's got to have another character, right? And I have another character. I have a secondary character on another one of the episodes where Space Dandy actually dies, and he meets this this woman. Her name is Poe, basically, and she's the physical embodiment of an entire planet that had ended up destroying itself. And so that's a whole nother story, though. I love that episode. But this episode, I was telling Spirit, I was like, no, you got to show me her other character. There's got to be another character for her. And so I ended up watching this episode. It was like I said, it was the Christmas episode. And so it starts with Space Dandy. They're looking to get some cash again. So they're looking on their app to find out which aliens get the most money, the most woolongs. And they come across this species called the Gentooans. Okay, now immediately when I hear the Gentooans, now remember, you give things meaning. That's what makes your life meaningful. So try to give them positive meanings. Go with what feels right. What's the first thing you think about? Like, start making your own life story. Your life is your own movie, and you get to make those choices. That's what the 2 of Wands is all about. You're making the choices of what you want your world to be. Okay. So the first thing I think about when I hear the word Gentooan is someone who's gentle. They're gentle by nature. Okay, a gentle person. And so they find one. They hear about one being, because the Gentooans, they live separately. They don't live in packs and stuff like that, in fear of people finding them, because they're such a rare alien. They don't want them to be all wiped out at once, so they have to be separated all around the universe. Okay, and in this particular episode, this little girl Gentooan, there were guys that were after her to hunt her down and to kidnap her and take her in to either sell her or Space Dandy and them, they just wanted to register her. And what registration looks like, you just take them to the registration office and they scan them and they be like, yep, that's the right type of alien. Okay, here's your money. Go ahead, leave. Okay. So Space Dandy gets there and he meets this little girl. And before he knows it, this little girl takes these 2 antennae that she has on the back of her head here, and she taps him, and she taps this stuffed animal that she has. And she is able to transfer his consciousness into the stuffed animal. Now, it only lasts for, I thought this was weird, for 666 seconds. That's how long the consciousness transfer lasts. But usually this is enough time for the Gentooan, if they're in trouble, to be able to stun their enemy enough to where they're able to grab their stuffed animal that has the consciousness of this being, and it will immobilize the body of the person, and so they can run away and they can get away. Okay. So Space Dandy comes and he's like, "Hey kid, I'm going to take you to register you so that way I can get some loot." And she immediately transfers his consciousness into the stuffed animal. Now, what this reminded me of, guys, was my stuffed animal my bunny that I got last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, I showed you guys my new stuffed animal character, my guy, Malikuth. Okay. And he legit spoke to me. Okay. Like a consciousness came through him. And so watching this episode, I was like, holy shit. Like that's basically what it felt like. It felt like the consciousness got transferred into this bunny, which is a dragon consciousness. So it was like very, very interesting interactions. So as I'm watching this episode, Space Dandy, though, he in particular, he's very strong willed. So instead of just being inside the stuffed animal and like feeling like what's the word, not ashamed but just kind of like embarrassed that he managed to get like be tricked and put into this stuffed animal form, instead of having a normal reaction, he's so strong-willed that he was able to actually physically move the stuffed animal and jump up and kick her and knock her down and like sit on top of her. And she was so stunned by that she didn't go anywhere. And so she waited until his consciousness went back into his body. And then he was like, all, because he was in the stuffed animal, he was like dancing like, yeah, 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 you know? And so the consciousness goes back and he's like, yes, 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 yes. And he's like, oh, I'm back into my body again. And so the episode starts to go forward. And what you discover is that she had lost her mom. And so now she had tried to get a hold of her grandfather and she could not find him. The address or the phone number didn't line up or match anymore. And so at first he didn't really seem to have much empathy for her, because he's like, hey, I'm just trying to do my job here. I'm not going to hurt you or anything, but at least come with me and let me register you. But his ship had gotten towed. His spaceship had gotten towed. So he had to take this longer route in order to get back to his spaceship. So they were going to have to do some traveling together. Okay. And so as they're doing this traveling together, they're starting to get to know each other a little bit, but he always acts like he's big and bad and he's macho, and like he doesn't really care about anything. And the thing that he really cares about the most, honestly, is just going to get food at his favorite diner. And he doesn't care about finding her grandpa or anything like that. And so at one point, he's going to go out. Okay. He's like, I'm going to go to my favorite diner, but you're a kid and you can't come with me. So you have to stay here. And she gets very upset about it because they kind of been working as a team at that point and making money here and there by him being willing to let her willingly transfer his consciousness to this stuffed animal so that the stuffed animal could put on a show for people, and they would hide his body and people would give money to them for this stuffed animal being able, like, wow, stuff like an actual animating stuffed animal. That's so crazy, And so they'd been working as a team. So the little girl kind of bonded to him, and she's just kind of like, I can't believe you're going to leave me here alone at night, And he's like, tough break, kid, tough break. I got to go. I'm going to go to my favorite diner. So he leaves her alone. And then you see, and, they start playing the Dandy and Love music. I love that, the soundtrack of that. And you can look that up. It's actually on my promo. I put the music in there. So anyway, they start playing that, and you actually see the little girl's tossing and turning, and Space Dandy is out there, and he isn't at his favorite diner. He's actually out there looking for her grandfather. So that's the kind of person Space Dandy really is, so he's out there and he's looking for her grandfather. And you don't really know for sure if he finds her. Like, it looks like he's not really having good luck in doing that. And so he comes back home and it looks like he's a little bit defeated. He comes back to the place. And so they go to the train station the next day, and this is their last stop until they get to his ship to go to the alien registration office. And so he basically says to the girl, like, so this is like our last hurrah here. Do you want me to buy you something special? And she gets really upset because she's like, because he says, you know what? It doesn't even, getting the money from you doesn't even matter to me anymore. I'm just going to leave you here. Like, because now at this point, it's like, he cares about her, it's not just about the money for him anymore. So he's like, I'll buy you something, but this is where we're going to part ways, because I'm not going to force you to go to this registration center with me. And she gets very upset. And she's just like, you're just going to abandon me like all the rest of the adults that haven't abandoned me in my life. And so she's like, well, you know, F you basically. And she transfers him. Okay. And, oh, that's the other thing. Gentuans can only use their ability once a day, and then they have to let it rest for an entire day. Okay. So she transfers them because she's so mad. And as she runs away and she hides behind this hallway, and the bad guys find her. So now the bad guys are kidnapping her, and Dandy sees them in the stuffed animal form trying to kidnap her. So he starts going after them, and he's running and as fast as he can in these little bird feet, because it's a bird. It looks like a penguin kind of. And the bad guys are like, hey guy, don't you know, like penguins and stuff, they don't fly, you know, but it's his sheer will and determination. He's able to fly, okay, and fly after this train that is taking off. And he like does this little spin move, and he gets into the train and he knocks down the guys. The only problem is that the consciousness transfer only lasts for that short time, right? And so even though he was able to kind of save the day for a minute, now his consciousness is back in his body, and his body is back way far back where it was originally transferred. Luckily enough, though, an old man comes into the cabin and he says, can I help you, young miss? You know what I'm saying? And the bad guys are like, leave us alone. This is none of your business, old man. And he's like, oh, really? And he's holding a stuffed animal with him too. And he transfers their consciousness, both of them, because he's older. And as you get older, you're able to do it. Like, you're able to use the ability even more. And he transfers their consciousness to his stuffed animal. And he ends up being able to save his granddaughter. It turns out that was the grandfather. And that's why Space Dandy took her to the train station, because he was waiting for the grandfather to show up, because he had found him. And so they do a nice little wrap up of it at the end where they're off the train and they're talking, and the little girl is basically like, thank you for finding my grandfather, but you know what? I really want to come and work with you. I want to come be on the Aloha Oi with you and go looking for aliens. And he's like, yeah, you know what? He said, I can't do that right now, but you know what? If you grow up into a shapely woman, you can come and work with me. Oh my God, I just love this. I love the character. I love his sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? And so that is the Space Dandy episode. It is really good. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, or you can't check it out, give it a try. Try to find it. It's got a lot of good ones in there. And like I said before, every episode is written by a different writer. So every episode is so unique into itself. You know, like there's one with the cosmic string theory, where they start pulling little cosmic strings everywhere and start taking themselves through other dimensions or parallel universes, basically, and meeting themselves in these alternate parallel universes. You know, where like in one parallel universe, Dandy is a space truck driver instead of a space alien hunter. You know, and lots of funny stuff like that. So, there's an emo one. There's one universe where he's an emo dandy and he just wants to die. and like he has like meow, meow, meow is just this insane character. I don't even know how to put it. Like he's like this robot, like astronaut guy, but he carries around a helmet that he never puts on. And he just says, meow, meow, meow. And he's like, do you see why I want to die? He's like, you see this? Like, look at my life, you know? And it's hilarious. All the episodes, well, I mean, not every single one is a hit, but most of them are really, really good. So if you related to any of that, take away from it what you will. You know, always make sure you choose your characters when you watch things. Okay? Always make sure you choose your characters, because the character you're drawn to is telling you something about yourself. It's a reflection. You know, we're all mirrors for each other. And so there's reasons why you're attracted to the things that you're attracted to. I guess that's one of the biggest messages I can get home to you guys. Like, that is what God taught me about myself, that all these things that that I love, it's because those things are telling me something about myself. And so pay attention to the stories that you love. Okay. So finally, we did our first Space Dandy episode discussion. All right. I hope you enjoyed that one. I will be talking about some of the other ones later on because they're hilarious. Trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to mention before we switch gears here and go to, I'm getting spirits moving through me. I can tell because I'm getting like overheated, but I had been from the get-go. So, apparently that is something that I also discovered through a podcast I was watching about this guy who's a channeler. And I've heard it from multiple people at this point that like when God is really working through you and you open up your vessel properly, it actually starts to heat you up. So yes. So pay attention to that, because when that heat starts coming through, that means like spirit is really working through you. Or you're having a menopausal hot flash. But we know I don't have those anymore, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So this is really spirit working through me. Oh, you even have Lilu as your little icon. Oh, that's one of my characters. I told you that already, Patrick. All right, so, oh wow, yeah. Sorry, I just noticed my guy is all like to the side. All right, there we go. Okay, I needed to fix that. So now is the time of the show where we're going to pull our fortune cookie, and then we're going to pull our tarot cards for the collective, because I think the collective is needing a message about how to move forward, I think, from all this craziness. And I'm excited to pull that. I'm excited to pull those cards. Oh, yes, Daniel Jackson. I love Daniel Jackson's character in Stargate Victor. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was obsessed with that movie. I even bought the book and I read it, the whole thing. That should show you how much I loved it. If I'm professing and confessing to the fact that I'm not a very good reader, it takes me so long. That should show you how much I love it. I even had a statue from the movie, and it was the Ra statue, because my favorite character was the Ra, was the bad guy. My favorite character was the bad guy. Okay, I don't know. I just absolutely loved it. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's pull this fortune cookie. I have heard that there's a lot of truth in SG1, although I've never watched the show. I've only watched the movie. I did love the girl character too, the one that he ends up like marrying. I forget what her name was now at this point, which is a rare thing for me to forget the name of one of the characters that I love from these movies, right? Because my memory is like an elephant here, guys. Like when I lock something in, when something becomes meaningful to me, I remember it, and I try to remember people and the things that they tell me as much as possible, as much as I possibly can, because especially if that person means something to me, because I want people to know that they mean something to me. And look, you mean so much to me. I remember this. I remember it. And maybe that's because I want to be remembered. Yeah, Shirley. Yes. Oh, you remembered it. That's funny. Shirley. Yes. That's a good one. All right, so let's pull the fortune for today for the collective. Ooh, heavy. Yeah. Oh, it's this one. This is the one. This is the one for us today. Okay, guys. Gotta put the magic into it. Give Spirit a time to make sure to change up the message that we need to hear. So what does the collective need to hear? What does the collective need to hear? I'm reading the chat. Sorry, guys. Okay. So there better be a fortune in this. Okay, it is. All right. So what does the collective need to hear? What fortune cookie message would Spirit like to tell us? Woo! Patience is one of the hardest virtues to master. Agree on that one. I definitely agree with that one. Patience. So they're saying that we need to have patience of some sort, huh? Yeah, I'm struggling with that one. I'll be real. I feel like being patient for the past year has taken its toll. Like I have been patient. I have been patient. I'm losing my patience at this point. I shouldn't say losing it because words are powerful. So what you say, you kind of condemn yourself to. So I won't say I'm losing it, but I will admit that I am struggling with having patience. Yes. Hmm. Yeah, be patient, but don't become a patient. Or if lack of patience could make you one, right? The stress in your body. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's that. How long have we been going? Okay. This is going to be a short stream for me. We're going to be able to keep this under 2 hours. This is great. Okay. Maybe I'll actually get suggested. Because I guess it's a well-known fact that, streams over 2 hours don't get suggested as much. Which I already think they don't know what the F to do with me anyway. Like I've admitted this quite a few times. I don't think the algorithm knows where to place me. I don't make my titles clickbaity enough. I always feel like I should, because here's the thing, okay, there's certain channels I watch where I can totally tell that their title is solely for clickbait to get people there, but I watch them because I know that it's going to be something more meaningful behind it. Because right now, and I haven't finished my studying yet, but please be aware, I am going to be bringing you guys the information about how to manifest with tarot through the tree of life and the tree of death and what that looks like. Not necessarily manifesting with the tree of death, but how do you integrate those shadows, the shadow aspects, the demonic aspects of the tree of death, which it's like, because Carl Jung talked about all this stuff too. This is not really new information, but it's been forgotten. It's been occult information, which just means secret, right? And so, like I mentioned earlier, like the part of the tree of death that I studied this past week was I'm not going to be able to say the name of it because it was like this really long name of what the demon is, and it was basically like people who take knowledge but then don't ever apply it. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a demonic aspect, whereas if you take it and you apply it, it becomes the light aspect of it. So I will be bringing you that information. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, now is the time, because I will be bringing that. I will be talking more about the fun stories I like. If you please also hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Help me out. Help me be seen. Leave a comment under the video. That I guess helps people see the video more. That helps it recommend more. So yes, thank you. Please, yes, hit subscribe. Turn on that notifications bell. I would love to see you here. I would love to have you interacting with me on the chat. I really do try to pay attention to everything people say, even though sometimes it does get a little bit away from me. Wow, look at that. We are really stuck. We are stuck. This is the second time I've tried to shuffle the cards, and they have really, they're being hard for me here. So we are in some heavy, sticky energies going on with the collective for the next week, I'm going to say here, if not 2. I will be on again next week on Wednesday with BG Cast. Stephen from BG Cast. We have set to record or go live. I'm not really sure. I'll have to get a hold of them, but I will make sure that I post it here on my YouTube channel so that you guys can come and take a look, listen to that or whatnot. That freed us up some now that I said that. Okay. So let's go ahead and tune in to the collective. And if I'm feeling up to it, I might be willing to give a reading or 2 from the chat. But you know me, I like to do the collective reading first, because if you're here and you're hearing this, this is for us. This is for our group. And however it hits you, however it strikes you, trust yourself. It's time to build self-trust. It's time to build your internal dialogue with God. That is how you develop a relationship with God and the energies and your spirit guides. Like they're talking to you all the time. They're throwing energies at you, and whatever that energy, however it hits you in your mind, like the things that come up in your mind, whether it's visions of or images, or whether it's just like you feel like your own voice is talking to you, but it's saying something particular. It's because that is you building that relation. Like every time you tell God what something means to you, and then you reinforce it with every time that thing comes up and you say, oh yeah, that's what that means to me. That's what that means to me. That's what that means to me. You know, like that is how you start to build that connection with God. You start to build that bridge, that ladder to take you up higher in consciousness levels. Okay. So let's go ahead though. Let's tune in. Collective consciousness of all those that we're watching now and will be watching in the future. What would Spirit like to tell us? Okay. You know, I have to obsessively shuffle for a bit. I really want the energies mixed up and they're good. Okay. What would my higher self and the higher selves of those participating with me here, what message would Spirit like to give us, please? Make it clear and easy to understand. I feel like they're wanting to give words of encouragement or hope of some sort. Let's see. Do we want the truth? That's what we want the most of. Tell us the truth. What message does Spirit want to give us? Okay, so almost done. Yeah, that's it. We're good. Yep, I said we're at the end here. Okay. What does Spirit want to tell us? All right, here we go, guys. Let's do the first reading here, or the first card here. One, two, three. All right. So the first card we got is the Magician. So it's time to realize and recognize how much power we really do have, how much power is available to us. On the Tree of Life, this is like the very top of the Tree of Life. When you have fully self-actualized, you become the true magician. Okay, you see all the tools that he has laid down. These are tools of the mind and of the spirit. Okay, the things that you have always had and always will have. It's just a matter of learning how to tune into those. It's like I was just talking about with building that dialogue with God. It's like you also build your tool system, okay, in a similar way. Okay, you have to learn how to use those tools. You have to learn what's specific to you. You know, like for instance, in the episode of Space Danny that I was talking about, that her specific tool was her ability to be able to transfer consciousness, okay, from a living being to a inanimate object. Okay, like what's your specialty? Okay, you actually know what they are now. You know, you have a good idea of what you're capable of. Like a big shield I'm seeing too. It's like you're able to stay protected and use your tools without being attacked, with having a certain level of protection. Like the light of God is behind you. And perhaps you don't even recognize how far you've come yet. And that might be part of what's holding people back from using those tools. It's because they have not recognized how much they've actually been working on them and how much is actually available to them in their mind and in their spirit. Okay. Yeah, like he's got all of them here. Okay. Just trying to see if they're going to pull anything else out to me. Very interesting. Just noticing the way they have this laid over top of each other. Like the action is over top, like the rod is over top of the cup. So, and then the sword is on top of the rod. So it's like emotions inspire the action, inspire the words. So you have to tap into your emotions to inspire you to want to take actions. And part of those actions are going to include your words and actually spreading those words out. It's actually even pointing to the magician. So it's like almost calling yourself out as the magician, as a magician. Okay. And fully self-actualizing and knowing who you are. So that's what this is all about. The energies for the next week or two here is going to be about really coming to realize that you are a true magician and you do have an ability to impact things on a greater level than what you are aware of. Okay. And it starts with the feelings, because that's the thing and being grounded too. Because here's the thing, the pentacle is right next to the cups. So and the rod is laying over top of the pentacle and the cup. So it's like pentacles grounded, emotions, action, words. Okay. What's the next part? Yes. Okay. What's the next part of the message? One, two, three. Okay. It's the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fate. It keeps turning. This is about cycles. This is about patterns. This is about noticing and recognizing those things and knowing when to jump on and knowing when to jump off. Okay, we got a Taurus and a Lion here. So it's about, I feel like harmony between, Taurus energy can be it's a grounded energy, right? It can also be very stubborn. It can be very slow to act. Okay, but the Lion is like courageous. It is fire. It is action. It's more quick to be in action. And it's so funny because I'm noticing that, he's got that snake, or I forget what the name of this is, the snake that eats itself, right? He's got that. It almost looks like the snake is unlocked in this one. It's on both sides. So it's like about unlocking something when it comes to the Wheel of Fate and the cyclical pattern of life. And the light is shining down from above this time. So again, this is about balance and harmony. And just learning to recognize that it's about timing and opportunity as well. Like you are going to be given an opportunity for something, and it's going to be up to you to make sure that you know when to wait and when to go, right? Because with the Taurus, the earth energy, and then the fire, which is the action energy. Okay, so it's like being patient enough to know when you're supposed to take that action, when you're supposed to chime in with your words that are inspired through the heart. Okay, we got 2 major arcana cards here, so this is a very heavy energy. So this is like, it's not the minor one, so it's more like, this is definitely collective energy. This is definitely something that's like it was destined to happen, whereas like the minor arcana can be like little tiny details or choices and stuff like that. It kind of vary somewhat. Okay, this is like, no, this was meant to happen this way, and it's up to you to figure out exactly how you want to take this and what you want to do with it. But this was meant to happen. This was the fate. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the last card. This last part of the message for the collective. What does Spirit want to tell us? 1, 2, time to step up. It's time to gather your companions around you and put on that armor and be ready to speak. Okay, now this is speaking from the feminine aspect, so it might be a little bit more bendable, a little bit more flexible. Okay, but what is like the role of the feminine, right? It's about nurturing, it's about caring, it's about tending to things that are emotional in nature, even, I would say. Not that men are unemotional, but obviously women are the natural caretakers. So it's time to use your words, and it's time to stand up for yourself when it comes to things that you wish to protect and keep safe. Now that's more of a, like, I feel like that's more of a masculine energy, obviously, to protect and keep safe, to be the protector. But she's protecting things that can't protect themselves. That is the things that, like I said, like children, you know. Trying to think if there's any other message I can get through this. Like the wound. Oh, what are they trying to? They're trying to say something like the wounded warrior is the only, like, something about being wounded is what makes you a healer. You know, like, God, some saying that Carl Jung said one time that I heard. It's like, you can't heal without having been wounded, and she's fully aware of this. You know, and that's why she is kind of a little bit guarded, but she has all this help here, all these consciousnesses, which is spiritual love. It's a spiritual group. You have a spiritual group to fall back on. We are connected at the hilt of the sword here. So just be prepared, you know. Wow. Okay, I just looked at the bottom of the deck. I don't usually look at the bottom. I don't always look at the bottom of the deck, but I just wanted to show you what the bottom of the deck here was, because I've been doing that lately with my morning pulls. I'll pull 3, and then I've been looking at the bottom of the deck. I mean, this is some real heavy energy. It's like, guys, we need to take control of where we want to go. Okay? It's like God is giving us, oh, wow. Okay, so like with the Magician, we got the light coming up. With the Wheel of Fortune, we got the light coming down. And with the Chariot, look at that. The light is balanced fully across. It's fully across and balanced. Okay. Like, even you see all of those bendy little swordy things right there again in the inside. They're the same ones that are over here. Like being willing to be bendable and flexible. It's like that's been taken in. Mm-hmm. The problem with the Chariot is, again, like, you have to be your light and your dark side. They need to be working in alignment together, because we all have our shadows and we all have our light. And it's about integrating those two things in order to fully take you where you want to go. Because once you decide to do that and you get those horses in alignment, it will take you wherever you're trying to go. It'll take you there really, really fast. But it's about making that decision. You know, he's got his sword at his side, so he can use that. But this is also about action, moving forward. We're going to our next destination. Once we've decided that we want to jump on that wheel, we're going to our next destination. Why is this red blood moon showing up everywhere too? It's on the heels of this eclipse. He's got moon shields right here. So that even in my promo in the picture with Space Dandy, it's like, it looks like there's a red moon there. It looks like a red moon in the background. So this blood moon was really changing. So look back to think, like, pay attention to what you're thinking about. Pay attention to the things you're putting energy into, because those things are going to be manifested really fast if you are like, okay, a driving force, right? Like, what is it making the murder of Charlie Kirk? What is it making people want to do? We want to come together. We want change, right? But if we're all like fighting amongst each other, the horses are going everywhere. Okay. But if we come together, God can take us to that place really fast, but we have to be in alignment. We have to get those two things lined up. And I think we will. I'm seeing more in these cards today in different ways than I have before, and I'm really grateful for that. Because again, this is how you build your relationship with God, and you build that dialogue with the divine. Like I'm even seeing the black star in his forehead, and I'm wondering, like, what does that mean? You know, do what thou wilt, right? Love, what is it? Love is the law. Love is the law. So we need to drive towards love, because love is really what we are and where we need to be going. I don't know how we purge humanity of these fucking parasites then, because let me tell you, I don't. I'm like, because some part of me is seeing like parasites in this stomach area. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've been thinking about doing a detox, now might be the time. Like he's not just one being, he's a multitude. When they forget you contain multitudes. Put that on a post I made on Instagram not that long ago. I kind of went ham on these stories the other day when I was really upset. And I had to like archive them afterward because I was like, no, that's not me. That's not me. So, okay. So anyway, also just so you know about parasites when it comes to detoxing, they come out more when the moon is full. They are actually pulled just like the tides out of your muscles. So if you're working on a parasite cleanse of some sort, oh, isn't that funny? If we're like pulling, if like the world and the human consciousness is being parasite cleansed, so to speak. It's like this whole ordeal with Charlie Kirk. It like brought all of them forward. It brought them all up to a head. So that way we could see them and see exactly what we're dealing with. Because like I said, good people naturally think that other people think the same way they do, that we just have this natural moral law that we abide by. And if anything, what this has done has shown us that there are a lot more people out there that are sicker than we realized. If they can sit there and they can project onto Charlie Kirk everything that they are doing themselves, which is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. All right. Let's see. Should I do a reading for someone in the chat? I'm kind of feeling like doing one or two more readings, but I don't want to take too much longer. I just want to say hi, Matthew and Honora. I'm glad you guys showed up. Yeah. I was just talking about you guys earlier. So this is oh yes. Yes, Brian. Love it. Is there someone in the chat that would like, Honora would like another one? Okay, yes, we can do that. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to get all dorky on you like that. I get excited. I can like feel it going through like my little girl geek out like, yeah. Okay, so let's do one for Honora. We'll do one for Honora, and if I have any more energy after that, and it's not too late, I might do one more, but I really am trying to wrap it up a little bit sooner than I have been, because I do have somewhere to be really early tomorrow morning. All right, Brian and Honora, that's who's the lucky draws for today. Okay, it's your Wheel of Fortune today. I have somewhere to go really early in the morning. I got invited somewhere, so I'm actually going to be taking a day off work, which is a rare thing for me to do. It's hard. You know, I don't know, once I get into a certain routine, it's very, very hard for me to break that routine. Some part of me just feels like I just cannot sit still and do something else once something is built like that. And to be honest, and to be fair, I did ask Spirit to help me clean out my mental houses of diligence and discipline. That is what I asked them to help me with when it came to certain things. And they did. But now I don't know how to be a little bit more feminine. All right, so let's go ahead. Okay, hold on. More? It's just me cleaning the space. Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay. For Nora. Okay. There we go. Ooh, something stuck there. A little bit sticky. You might be stuck on something a little bit right now. Just let it be made known what it is that we need to be aware of for Nora. Please let it be made known what we need to be made aware of. Yeah, there we go. It's flowing good now. Yes. Okay, there we go. Okay, first card. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2 cards came out at once. I don't usually do that, but we're going to go ahead and look at it. Okay, so first cards we got for you is the Hermit was the one coming out on top, but then behind the Hermit was this one, the 7 of Rods. Okay, so there's some there's some work to be done here. We'll go with the Hermit first. So this is the major energy coming through first, which is like, wow, look at all those swords behind you. It's like you're going to have to really put all those swords down for a minute, and you're going to have to do an inner journey of the spirit. It's destiny, though, because it's got that star right there. You see that on your lamp? So this is something that you were meant to be doing. But it's going to take some patience, I get the feeling. It's almost like you're doing it like a secret adventure. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to go and you have to do this thing. You have to know. Okay. Oh, I heard my daughter yelling. Okay. So let's see what else I can pull from this guy, though. This is something that needs to be done alone. Like you're the one that has to accomplish this thing. Okay. You don't need a lot of input or words from other people. Because again, it's about seeking something inside yourself. Let's go ahead and look at the other card that came along with it, because it's almost like this card, as it was coming behind it, it's like this card is like the lead up to that. Okay. So you got the 7 of Rods here. Now this is about a lot of actions. It's just like, oh my God, look at all these things that I have to do and I have to accomplish. And I'm overwhelmed a little bit. There's so much, but the fact of the matter is if you stand your ground, like you will accomplish what you're setting out to accomplish. I know it's a lot. I know that it's just all coming at you all at once. It's like, and I know a little bit about what's going on with you. So it's kind of easy, I feel like, to relate to what it is that they're trying to ask you to do, which is to jump through all these hoops or whatever, to take all these different, like, show us this and show us that and show us this other thing and prove that. And, but you've been like, this also always reminds me like of a steering wheel. So like you are the one driving this and you got this, just pull from inside of yourself. Because that's what it's going to require, like a manifestations of sorts. Where it's like you need to take whatever swords it is in your mind that may be holding back from the full manifestation coming to be. Like you got to find that energy inside you, the belief inside you. And you need to feel that energy of what it's like to already have that thing that you want, that you're trying to get, that you're requesting. Like that is the hardest part about manifesting sometimes, is really letting yourself open up to the belief that you are capable of doing it. That you are capable of switching your mind to the belief and emotionally, okay, that this is what I'm asking for and this is what I'm going to get and this is what the universe is going to give me. So keep that in mind, because now we're going to pull another card. That's the next part of the message. That's the next part of the message. 1, Okay. So you're building something. You're working on something. You're at the beginning of this, and you really are making a difference. You know, this is like the card of the apprentice. This is the card of, so it is something physical. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing is something physical that maybe not everyone would be up to the task of, but it's like you're being forced to pay attention to all these tiny small details and to chisel away and to carve away at it in order to bring about what it is that you're the ultimate end goal here, because the 3 is at the beginning of the whole 10 cycle, right? So it's like you're still kind of, but you're through some of it. You're through some of it. And what you're and the work and the progress you have made is real progress. But again, it's still at the beginning. There's still more to be done. Okay. And for some reason I'm even seeing like the tree of life stuff. Okay, because they're showing me like the main pillar here. It's like the middle way, you know what I'm saying? And so what pillar is he working on? He's working on the pillar of severity, quite honestly. So it might seem a little bit harsh, you know, all the work that you're having to do. But look at the top of it, like you already have these 3 pentacles. It's like these are already fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? That's the highest part of the tree of life. So those things are already fulfilled. So the life path that you're choosing on this one might not be the easiest one, but you're still making real efforts and you're still making real progress on it. And I would not quit, because they're telling you, like with that 7 of rods, they're telling you like stand your ground, keep going. You have to harness that the feeling inside you of what it is that you're trying to create. Do you have that in you even? You know, that might be part of the inner hermit journey. It's like, do you even have that feeling in you? And if not, how do you cultivate that feeling of what it is that you're trying to get, what you're trying to accomplish? Okay. Like, what is on that side? I know, like, they're trying to tell me the tarot cards that are on the side of that, because there's some part of it that needs harmonized. And I think it's the Chariot, quite honestly, that we saw in the collective one for the bottom. So it's going to be about a balance of sorts. Okay. So let's pull the last card, though. Last card. Okay. What is left for the message for 1, 2, 3? Okay. The Empress. The Empress. So you definitely are being forced to do things in a completely new way that maybe you're not used to doing. Maybe you're not as comfortable doing. But the great thing is that she brings lots of abundance, lots of life. She's got healing energies to her. You know, she's got that giant staff next to her. I mean, this could even be a pregnancy card if you're looking to do something like that. The fall is going to be plentiful here for you. Like there's something coming, like the harvest. You know what I'm saying? This is the harvest time. That's what she's ruling over. It makes me think of the goddess Demeter. If you want to look into that at all, like the symbolism behind her. It's also about, but it's cycles and patterns. Like you're able to notice the cycles and the patterns really well, or you wouldn't be coming through as the Empress energy. So Venus energy, yes. Sorry, now they're like, how do we relate this to the rest of this? It's like you need to channel all that inner goddess energy. Wow, her head's like on fire. So the crown chakra is, yeah, it's open and it's working. Make the stars work for you. It's kind of like what I'm hearing. So maybe look into the astrology of things, maybe even as for when to take certain actions on certain things. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can pull from this for you. Because if you look at the head. The head looks like it's just on fire with spiritual light. That's creative light too, because it's orange. Creative actions. Orange and red. Mm-hmm. And she looks like she's pretty peaceful there. She's calm and she's focused. So anyway, I hope that helps. You got 4 cards already, so we don't need to show the bottom of the deck. But I have a good feeling, ultimately. That feels like a success card. You know, bringing life. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, Patrick would like a card too. Ah! Did I just oh, I'm gonna go past the 2 hour mark. I just said, okay, fine, whatever. We're gonna do it. Yay! You're welcome. All right, let's do this for Brian. Cards. Come here. Okay. All right, tuning into Brian. Okay, what does this fish want to do? Oh gosh, why are my cards being like that right now? Are we all yours got stuck right in the middle? So I don't know what is going on there. Yeah, okay. Yes, what message would you like to give? There we go. Okay. Yes, we're done. We're done shuffling. One, two, three. Wow, look what we got. First card. The Chariot. So if you're looking for an answer of what's your next step, you know what I'm saying? What's the next move forward? It's going to be getting your will in alignment, your intentions, your will. Okay, what is it? Where is it that you want to go? What do you want to do with this? This is a balance card. You have to be in balance. You have to have both your light and your dark balance. So you need to be willing to look at both of those things, which I get the feeling that you can do. I get the feeling that you do that. You have this inner light that's going to help drive you forward. You naturally have your sword sheathed here right now, but I don't think that doesn't mean that you're not afraid to use it. You know what I'm saying? You are willing to use that. It's just that it's the right moment that you're supposed to use it. You're waiting for that because first you got to get to the place. First you got to decide where it is that you want to head to. Mm-hmm. Where does the love come from, right? What is it, the thing that makes you feel the most love, that makes you feel the most inspired? In what way did the whole thing that we just went through, the assassination, in what way did that inspire you? What did it put on your shoulders? What part do you feel I need to do something about this? This is the way I'm going to do it. Let's go ahead. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull the next card though, since we've talked about this card a little bit already. Brian. Okay, yes. What's the next one? The message for Brian. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So it's time to be focused on manifesting something. I think it's interesting that both the Chariot is about knowing where you want to go, and now this one is about staying focused on what it is you want, getting those 2 horses into alignment, right, to take you forward. And this is about making sure to keep your focus and your attention, which I think it's kind of funny considering the collective card came out as that Queen of Swords. And here we got another queen. It's a Queen of Pentacles. Again, what does the feminine aspect represent the most of? Now, this could be an actual female figure that you could be supporting and getting behind and like driving your will along with hers. It could be that, you know what I'm saying, and keeping her safe and protected while she's manifesting something. Or it could be even your own inner divine female, all right, that needs to stay focused on the goal. What it is that they're trying to really bring forward into the physical, because it's something physical and tangible. And that's the thing about Pentacles energy, is that it's slow to get going. It's like a snowball, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's slow to start the roll and build up, but eventually it will. But it does require determination. It does require focused intent. You know, but we got blue skies behind her. So, like I get a positive outcome from it. It's like something positive that you're working towards here with her here. And there is something special, you know what, because there's more, you know what, you have alchemized a lot of your shadow already. That's what this is telling me. This white and this dark. I mean, look how much white there is compared to the dark. It's almost like it's alchemizing it even in the moment you're transmuting it. So that's a really positive sign. Also, that was that specific type of fur had to do with royalty. So I mean, you could have this, like your certain genetic line has some type of almost like holy grail energy. What is that? That like Christos. I hope you know what I'm trying to say here, is because I don't have the proper word for what it is that they're trying to give me. But just take that and you'll know what it means, and you'll find out what that means for you. But let's pull one more card, because you know I do 3. Okay. So the next part for Brian. Yes. That's the last part of the message. That's the last part of the message for Brian. 1, 2, 3. Wow, this is your destiny. We're getting some big energies with this. Like this is really your destiny. This is really, I mean, if you're here, you were meant to be here today, especially the star card. I love the star card. It's about divine guidance. Trust your intuition. Trust your spirit guides. If you've been building a connection with them, they have been guiding you. This is not, okay, like this is why it's going to take so much focus, okay, and making sure that things are in alignment and balanced and harmony, because it's little steps that lead to something bigger. Okay, like it's like things will happen one little bit at a time, but eventually it's going to take you to your destiny and to your fate, which you are in alignment with. I mean, that is what it says to me. That's what all of this is saying to me. You are really doing the work. You are really alchemizing the things that you need to alchemize, your shadow aspects, and you're following your love, and you're letting that love rule over, you know, be your will, the driving force behind your will. And that is what's going to take you to the place that you need to get to. Beautiful. I love this card too. I love the star card. Look how pretty that is. You know, it's reminding you to keep, you know, a lot of times the star card is represented with a woman with 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So it's like reminding you to make sure you stay connected, not only to your subconscious, but to the earth too, like the consciousness, and stay grounded while you take some water out of there. You know what I'm saying? While you get to know yourself. You don't want to overdo it when it comes to alchemization, when you're like taking stuff out of the consciousness. It's like if you overdo it too fast, then you might drown in it, so to speak. Just make sure you do it. Again, the slow steps thing is what I'm hearing. It's like trust spirits guiding you and do 1 step at a time. But you're creating something real. You're manifesting. Stay focused. You got this. I hope that helps. Oh, I'll pull a card for you, Patrick. I don't do one cards though, so I'm gonna have to pull 3. I hope you're ready for it. The birds are singing there. What is it? Morning for you there? This guy's in Australia, guys. Thanks for being watching me here from Australia. Like it's nighttime here. What is it? Morning time there then? What time is it? What time is it in Australia for you right now, Patrick? I hope I didn't leave you hanging too long that you left. Tuning into your energy. I can hear your voice already. Yeah. 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 You're a funny guy. Funny guy. Okay. So, what the hell? Card just dropped out. Oh, they are telling you to take a rest. You're going to be needing to take a rest here. Okay. 4 of Swords fell out. That's all. Now you're going silent. Is that it? Yeah, that's what it is. Now he's going to be quiet. I'm going to pull the cards anyway. And if you have fallen asleep or whatever, I'll just text you and I'll tell you to listen, rewatch. Okay, we're going to tune into Patrick's. This is the last one. I tried so hard. It never works anymore. It's always got to be a long live stream. And I'm happy about it. Don't let me confuse you. I bitch about it a little bit, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm able to even spend this time with you guys. So Patrick, I'm seeing your face. Okay. What is it that Spirit would like you to know for Patrick? What is it that Spirit would like you to know? Last shuffle. Yes, there we go. So I really had to focus on your energy there for a second. For Patrick. Okay, here we go. Okay. I know. It's almost like I do need to do a couple people in a row in order to really get warmed up, I feel like. So when I do that first pull for the collective, I feel like a little bit like, oh, did I do this right? And then I start doing it like with the last time that I did this and I was able to pull. It's like I was getting fired up and I'm like, yeah, you know? So I actually really thank you for giving me this opportunity, Patrick, to pull one more time here because I'm feeling it now. Okay. So for Patrick. What Spirit like to tell him? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. You got some good times coming ahead here. So, with every ending, there is a new beginning. But this is the ultimate happy ending here. Don't make any. Yeah. I know this guy, guys. He's a joker. He's a jokester. And that's all right. Because I like jokers around here. So this is a lot of emotions. This is like really seeing someone, making someone feel seen. Maybe perhaps even you really feeling seen by another person. Okay. I feel like this is she's like a Queen of Swords type of energy. We talked about this last time I was pulling because of what's going on with her hair. And it looks like she's taken her sword and she's tied it around into a hair clip of some sort with the consciousnesses that were on the hilt of the sword. They're now behind the back of her head here. So it's like making a real connection with someone. It's like finally something real. Some like another person actually sees me and they're accepting of me. And it's balanced. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a peaceful, harmonious type of interaction with people or with a person, feeling that inner peace inside yourself. Let's go ahead and pull another card though. Okay. Let's see where they're going with this. We're going to pull 3. Oh, you came. You showed back up. Okay. It's midday. Okay. Oh, no, not your face. You're so silly. Your face is fine. Oh, Chris. I can pull cards for you anytime. Just text me sometime. Be like, hey, can you pull these cards for me? All right. Here we go with Patrick. Okay. So We're at the 10 of Cups here, which is, I love this card. I feel like I really need a better understanding of this card, though, for my own personal life to really dive into that a little bit more, because I have a lot of experience, I feel like, with the other cards, and I pull cards every day for myself. And it's really been kind of showing me, like, when I do that now, like, how each one can, okay, like, for instance, I'll tell you, on the day yesterday, when Charlie Kirk passed away, I pulled the Death card. I pulled the Death card, the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Five of Swords. And I just thought, and honestly, when I pulled it, I thought to myself, like, I don't usually think this about the Death card, but I just thought, oh God, I hope there's not really a death. Like, I hope there's not really some death happening here. And, but I was like, no, it's a symbolic thing, right? But apparently all of us saw it, So what I'm doing is, and I'm telling my spirit guides basically, like, give me a better understanding, more in depth, of that 10 of Cups so that I can understand it better. But from what I know of it is what I've explained to you. So let's go ahead and pull a little more clarification cards for you. For Patrick, yeah. What's the next part of the message? For Patrick, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you got a lot of cups. You got a lot of emotions, emotional energy. You got a lot of options of things that you can devote your emotions to. Okay. Wow, look at that. Even that rainbow cup is right there. So that is one of the options that you can pick. But there are more choices here than maybe what you realize. The thing is, and no, I feel like you already are kind of doing this. Okay, so it's like the Seven of Cups is like, so there's all these different directions that your emotional energy is being pulled in the direction of. Okay, and in each one of those cups, in each one of those emotional directions, there's a different result. Okay, like, which thing is it that you want to focus on? Which one is it that you want to choose? Because it's going to lead you to one of these things. But if you aren't if you're not making that choice, then you'll just kind of feel scattered and all over the place. Okay, and you won't really feel fulfilled in any of those things, because you have to have some focus on what it is that you want to devote yourself to. Okay, so it's like, this to me feels like you need to make a choice about where you want to devote your emotional energy. And if you're trying to devote it to this, that is possible, because they, like, look at there's that rainbow card. So that is one of the options that you have. But there are others too. So let's go ahead and pull one more card to see what Spirit wants to say for Patrick. What's the last part? What's the last message for Patrick? 1, 2, 3. Wow. Whatever it is that you are going to be putting your attention to, it is being granted a green light of success. Like, this is success. This is abundance. So, like, you really got some good luck on your side. I just get the feeling. Okay. There's also the only warning aspect that I can feel like it's coming through for this sun card, though, is the fact that, remember, too much sun will burn, right? Too much sun. All right. Like, there needs to be a balance. Like, you can come across as very, very powerful with your consciousness. And, like, when you're ready to give it your all, like, you just go and you give it your all. Okay. Which can be a beautiful thing, because you're so open and you're so honest and you're so truthful. And that's a very big blessing, in my opinion. It's like you know yourself, even. Because you're not willing, you don't hide anything from anyone, including yourself, type of thing. Like, there's no need for you to. You're and I know your personality a little bit. You're very bubbly and spicy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, ultimately, I feel like the message really here is saying, like, Really pick what you want to do, because you're going to get what you want. It's just a matter of making sure you balance how much sunlight you're giving that thing, how much attention you're giving that thing, and just make sure that the seeds that you have planted, they need to have darkness sometimes. Sometimes they need a little bit of water. Sometimes they need a little bit of nighttime, then the daytime, then the night. Like, you have to get into that rhythm, into that pattern, and figure out what works best to you, best for you, in order to bring forward one of those end results for the Seven of Cups. So I hope that helps. I had a fun time doing that. I had to look at the bottom. I'm like, oh, I can't resist anymore. Yeah, you had the Judgment card. So the universe is trying to give you something, but you have to be willing to let go of something in order to get it. All right, and on that note, I'm officially feel done. Oh, I gotta stretch. Oh my god. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, you're my back cracking. Oh, I probably look really crazy doing this here, but I have to. Oh, I have to. Whew. Yes. Okay. I don't know how to mute my mic in order to not have you guys hear me cough, so you're going to have to deal with that. And on that note, thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in and going through all that stuff with me. Let's remember to pray for the world, and for all the people that were impacted by the events that have been transpiring lately, the violence and the bloodshed. I ask for the truth to come out. I am so tired of the lies. That is my focus, guys. I want the fucking truth. Let it be, like, let us fucking finally bring it out to light. See, that's the thing, though, is that for all of us that are in tune with that type of thing, it's like we don't like need to be told the truth to know the truth. You know, kind of like with the Epstein files. Like, we know it's all of them. It's all of them. All of them are on the list. All of the government is on the list. You got it? They're all there. So, but we need the rest of the world to know. So we need the truth to come out. I'm tired of the lies. That's all I'm tired. I don't want to hear about the patsy, the fall guy. I don't want to hear about the conspiracy that he's still alive somehow because his ring fucking moved. Okay, if you intuitively can feel it, you know what's real. And I'll leave you guys on that note. I love you. Take care. I'm going to go have a smoke. Good night. Bye. Mwah, mwah.